Okay, so the quadratic formula. It looks scary, but it's actually really helpful. Let's say I gave you that expression on the right, 5x squared plus 4x plus 3 equals 0. And I told you to solve that. And you're like, well, I don't really want to have to complete the square because it's confusing and it's boring. I wish there was just this machine that I could put it into and it would give me the number that I needed. Well, that's what the quadratic formula is. It's like a machine. You plug in these numbers and it's just going to spit out an answer. Okay? And so this guy that you often see looks really scary, right? But that's all it is. You can think of it as a machine. Okay? Negative b, that's negative 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared is 4 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 5, times c, which is 3, all over 2a, so 2 times 5. And that's going to give you, that is your answer. Okay, it's ugly, but technically that is the answer. Often, obviously your teacher's going to want you to simplify that a little bit, but you could just leave it as that, and that is the right answer. And so that's what the quadratic formula does. It gives you this machine that you can use to put the numbers in, and it's going to give you the right answer. You just need to know which numbers to put in. Okay, and today we're going to look at where this comes from. It looks really random and confusing, like where did that even come from? But the way that we derive this is actually through completing the square. Okay, so as I said before, let's say I gave you ax squared plus bx plus c, and I told you to solve that equal to 0. Obviously, you can't solve that because we don't know what a, b, and c are. But if you were asked to give that in terms of a, b, and c, then you're cooking, all right? So remember, when we complete the square, the coefficient of x squared has to be 1. But here it's a, okay? So the first thing that we're going to want to do is divide everything by a, okay? And we can do that because we've got 0 on this side. So we can divide both sides by a. And so we're going to do that term by term, okay? So dividing everything on this side by a, we're going to get x squared, and then we're going to get b over a x plus c over a equals 0 divided by a, so it's just 0, okay? Okay, so now that we've divided through by a, we can look at completing the square on this guy because the coefficient of x squared is now 1, okay? So we can now work with this, okay? So let's look at completing the square on this guy. Okay, so we'll have x there, and then we'll want to divide b over a by 2. So what's b over a by 2? b over a divided by 2 equals b over a, that's just times a half, so it's b over 2a. Okay, so inside the brackets we're going to want plus b over 2a. Okay, but if you look, we're going to want to square that. But you'll notice this squared is x squared plus b over 2ax plus another b over 2ax, so b over ax. But then we've also got at the end b over 2a times b over 2a, which is going to be b squared over 4a squared. Okay, but we don't have that at the top. So we've got too many of that. So we're going to want to take it off, basically. We're going to have minus b squared over 4a squared, okay? I hope you see where that's come from. It's just this squared. Because it's not up here, when we square this, we're going to get x squared plus b over ax. But we need to take that off because we're going to have too much of that, okay? And then at the end, we're going to have our c over a again, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to move these two terms to the other side, okay? So we're going to get x plus b over 2a squared, and then we're going to add b squared over 4a squared, and then take away c over a. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to combine these, okay? So we're going to look at this guy here, c over a. Okay, this, we're going to want to combine these two into one term. So to do that, we need, at the bottom here, we need this to be 4a squared. So we're going to times the top and the bottom by 4a. And that is going to go to 4ac over 4a squared. Okay. And so when we do x plus b over 2a squared, we're going to combine this into 1, and we're going to get b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. Okay? Now, just like you do when you complete the square, we're going to take the square root of both sides. Okay? So we're going to get x plus b over 2a equals, and remember we want plus or minus b squared minus 4ac, the square root of that, over, and remember, when we take the square root, what you can do is you can take the square root of the top and the square root of the bottom. And that's just a special case of the laws of indices. Like if you had a over b, and you did that to the half, that's just going to equal a to the half over b to the half. And we don't really need to do that, but it's just going to make things easier because the square root of 4a squared is just 2a. Okay, 2a times 2a is 4a squared. And then, finally, last step, pointing that down, take away b over 2a from both sides. So we're going to get x equals negative b over 2a plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And we see that since these guys are both over 2a, we can combine these two. And it's looking good. Sorry, let me just rub out the top here. So we've got, this is not very neat, but taking this up here, we're going to have x equals, you see there, negative b plus or minus root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Nice. So that is the quadratic formula. And we've derived it by completing the square. And so the reason that works is anytime you're given any expression like x squared plus 5x plus 2x, you're going to complete the square, and instead of having b's, you'll have whatever. Instead of having a's and c's, you'll have whatever. We've just generalized it. And so now that we have this formula, when we're solving and trying to find solutions, this is all we need. We don't actually need to factorize or complete the square. That doesn't mean forget about them, because they can be really useful if we want to just make things look nicer. But yeah, the quadratic formula is really cool. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments, and I'm happy to help out.